Evil Dead Rise is now in theaters. But does it help the horror genre and the franchise rise to meet expectations? I'm Adam from Does It Hold Up, and let's call some Deadites. Evil Dead Rise has moved the horror from a cabin in the middle of the woods to a condemned high-rise apartment building outside a major city. Lee Cronin directs his first big-budget feature that follows Ellie and her kids, Bridget, Danny, and Cassie, who get an unexpected visit from Ellie's sister, Beth. After an earthquake opens a hole in the parking garage of their building, Danny climbs down in it to explore before finding the Book of the Dead. After taking it back upstairs, the incantation is read aloud and Ellie is possessed by an evil entity and begins attacking the family. Now it's up to Beth to keep everyone safe. This movie does a wonderful job connecting back to other Evil Dead movies with dialogue taken word for word from earlier entries. There's also some great imagery that is very reminiscent of past movies, because Cronin does a fantastic job making you think every movie has been directed by the same person. Usually in franchises, as new directors take over, they like to add their own twist and flavor to the world, and Cronin does just that, but in a way that keeps everything feeling warm and familiar. This movie isn't really trying to overtake what has come before, but is really just seeking the approval of the Sam Raimi films with the way Cronin pays respectful homage to those movies. Beth, played by Lily Sullivan, must protect all of Ellie's kids from the presence that has made its way into their house. Danny, played by Morgan Davies, is the oldest of the three and is also the reason for everything happening. Morgan is great in this role, as are most of the main cast. Gabriella Eccles plays Bridget, an angsty teen that quickly forgets all that when the shit hits the fan. The kids are rounded out by Cassie, played by Nell Fisher. Normally, I'm not a fan of child actors, but she actually does a really good job in this one. The chemistry between all the actors is undeniable, and the performances are really what keeps the audience engaged with the movie. Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie is the best thing about Evil Dead Rise, as she puts in a terrific leading horror performance.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big ol' hug and kiss from you won't fix.
Her role far surpasses a lot of the performances that have come before in this franchise. Combined with the sound effects of her movements and the layered voices to make up the demon's speaking voice, she truly is terrifying whenever she is on screen. The biggest problem is, she gets sidelined for much of the runtime. The story builds so gradually and naturally before the horror begins that the audience is sucked in and on edge, waiting for the proverbial ball to drop and everything to go sideways. And when it does, there is no disappointment. The thrills and the gore come fast and heavy. David Garbett is the cinematographer for Evil Dead Rise after having this same role for much of the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV show, and he does not let us down. The visuals in this film are outstanding, and the atmosphere created by Cronin's directing and Garbett's cinematography really help push the creepiness and unease forward. This is a beautiful looking horror film, which is a nice change of pace from a lot of the other franchises out there that rely heavily on gore and jump scares to elicit the response they are looking for. Whereas Evil Dead Rise makes every aspect of what you are seeing and hearing work together to make your skin crawl. And the amount of blood used in this movie is astronomical compared to many contemporary movies that choose CGI over the fake stuff. And because of that, there's a fantastic sense of realism even amongst all the craziness of demonic possession. The end of the movie does seem to come very fast though, since the movie is only 90 minutes. We are so invested in what is happening that if they had added another 15 minutes or so, I don't think anyone would have complained. Especially if we got more possessed Ellie doing the creepy things she does. What I could have used less of was the final showdown in the film. The visuals don't stand up to everything that we have been seeing up to this point, and it feels extremely lackluster as a finale. Not sure what Cronin, who also wrote the script, was thinking when adding this sequence in, but he could have used someone letting him know it might not be the best idea. Overall, Evil Dead Rise is a great entry to the franchise that will not disappoint already existing fans, but has enough good stuff happening that it can help bring in new fans as well. So we're going to give Evil Dead Rise a B+. Just misses out on a higher grade because the 10-minute final showdown is such a letdown. But it does enough to keep me interested in seeing where the franchise goes from here. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Evil Dead Rise, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, in darkness, Scarandas, Kanda, Amontos, Kanda.